Take a deep breath in. And as you breathe in a resourceful feeling of calm and relaxation. And as you exhale, completely release any and all tension around your eyelids. And notice that when your eyes are closed, you can focus more of your attention on the sound of my voice. Breathing in relaxation, exhaling tension. Just scan your body for any clues of tension. And just feel that that tension is leaving your body in your outward breath. The deeper you breathe, the more relaxed you become. And the more relaxed you become, the more your imagination awakens. And I wonder if you could imagine just a sink with a tap pouring into the sink. See the sink starting to fill up with water. But there's something unusual about this sink. There is another sink, even larger beneath it, and then a bathtub beneath the second sink. As you breathe in and breathe out, just imagine that the water flowing into that sink represents value that you are creating for the world. And as you see that value flowing into the sink, notice that the sink starts to overflow. That the value you create for the world is rewarding you to a much higher level than what you would need to feel secure. And that's why the sink is overflowing. And it overflows into the sink beneath. And we can call that comfort. A comfortable life. Eating the food you want to eat. Having regular vacations. Clothes. Knowing that you don't just have food and shelter to survive. This second larger sink represents what you would consider a comfortable lifestyle. Not luxurious. And it's not like in this sink you can just quit your job and live a life of freedom. But this, nonetheless, is a good life. As you look at the first sink, it's consistently overflowing into the second sink, which is starting to top up. But I want you to see, in this second sink, the plug is loose. In this second sink called comfort and lifestyle, things are draining out just as much as they're draining in. It's difficult to overflow from this second sink. I want you to get a sense that soon two things will happen. The plug in this sink will get tighter, meaning that the sink can overflow, but also that more liquid is flowing into the sink. And we can call this abundance. Your capacity to receive more is infinite. So just imagine what it would feel like to adjust this second sink, to make the plug tighter, and imagine more water flowing into that second sink. So much that the second sink now also starts to overflow. And it overflows not into another sink, but a bathtub. Not just any bathtub. A luxurious bathtub. Perhaps with golden taps. Perhaps made of a material that represents abundance, wealth, and luxury. I want you to come to the conclusion that with all of your skills, knowledge, and value that you create for the world, I want you to feel that it is worthy for you to have that bathtub of freedom or luxury. Call it choices to live life on your terms. And imagine that bathtub starting to start filling up. And as it does, just get a sense that this is your future. Not worrying about security, not having to compromise with lifestyle, that there is so much abundance that you could pull out the plug of this bathtub, see it drain down, and know that it would fill back up again anyway. I want you to get a sense that you are worthy of abundance. You are deserving of wealth. You are giving yourself permission to receive. For a while, you've been focusing on the first sink of security. You've been trying to manifest more lifestyle in the second sink without realizing that all along, true freedom is what you deserve, but also will receive. I want you to imagine this bathtub of luxury and freedom filling up with warm water. But I want you to imagine now bathing in that bathtub of luxury and freedom and feel that this is where you belong. Not in the sink of security or the larger sink of lifestyle, but you belong in this bathtub of freedom. And in this bathtub, it is filled with abundance. You could be generous because so much is flowing in. You can go and travel to all parts of the world knowing that you can afford it because more and more is flowing in. And all it takes to make this your destiny is to release a few blocks that were created in childhood. As you feel yourself relaxing in this bathtub of luxury, imagine yourself going deeper and deeper to a place of ease and relaxation, almost floating into a place of comfort and peace. And imagine daydreaming as you've done before. Everyone's drifted off into a dreamlike nap there in a bathtub, and imagine vividly something else. And I want you to imagine yourself in front of a door that leads to the deeper parts of your mind. The place where beliefs about money, success, and abundance reside. Imagine pushing that door open and stepping into a beautiful, safe space, a place where transformation happens naturally and even effortlessly. And as you stand in this space, you notice two figures in front of you. Your father and your mother, but see them not as they are now. See them as you remember them from your childhood. See them at a time when they experienced scarcity. See their expressions. Feel their energy. Listen to the tonality of how they talked about money and spending. And maybe recall some of the conscious or unconscious lessons they taught you, or you just learned about money. Not through their words alone, but through their actions, their emotions, their intensity, their struggles. I want you to get a sense that there could be positive, empowering lessons, but also disempowering lessons. Maybe you saw how bad fortune, certain decisions could lead to loss, but also the incredible nature of resilience. That perhaps it's in your core that no matter what happens, you have the capacity to rebuild. And knowing that that exists feels like security. I want you to get a sense that just because you could be capable of dealing with a financial loss does not increase the probability of that financial loss. I want you to get a sense that so many things in life are there, not because it will happen, but just in case it will happen. Having a smoke detector in your apartment doesn't increase the probability of a fire. Having an insurance policy doesn't increase the probability of having an accident. Knowing that you could recover from a financial loss does not increase the probability of a financial loss. But I want you to see that if your father had a time machine, there are things he would have done different. And what if you can extract that wisdom from his life and start integrating it into yours? Being careful with who you trust, preparing for what could happen in the future, is not living in fear. It's just mitigating risk. Maybe observe your mother. Maybe she was cautious and wary because she lived through financial famines, was always on guard for the next one. But I want you to get a sense that they lived at a different time, had different experiences. Their life influenced yours, but isn't yours. I want you to get a sense that you're taking your father's resilience and your mother's vigilance, but you're harnessing them in the most powerful, positive ways. It's good to be cautious, but not overcautious. It's good to be resilient, but not if it means being reckless. Feel that you're harnessing their wisdom, their resources into you, like a superpower, enabling you to trust yourself, but reduce risks. If it feels like you're harnessing their resources within you, let me know by nodding your head. That's it. You understand that these were their experiences and not yours, and their financial story isn't your financial story. So feel that now is the time to release the weight of their struggles, but also feel an overwhelming feeling of gratitude for the resources and the lessons they gave you. And as you fully embrace that wisdom and those lessons, notice how you feel lighter, freer, and more secure. I want you to think about your own beliefs as you say goodbye to the echoes of your mother and father from their past. Think of thoughts like, in order to win, something has to lose, or if something is lost, that will balance with a win. But what if money, like the tides, flows in and out, but always returns? If you can simply find a way after a loss, you can find a way even if there is no loss. It doesn't require you to lose a client to gain one. It's more evidence that you always have the ability to be an alchemist, to create value from nothing. I want you to get a sense that some people think in terms of a zero-sum game. That in order for someone to win, someone has to lose. That it's one step forward, one step back. But I want you to think in terms of something different. If a seed is planted in fertile soil and it grows, one seed can turn into a tree that produces 100 fruit, and each fruit could contain 10 seeds. I want you to get a sense that one seed could produce 1,000 seeds a year, and each one of those seeds could then produce their own 10,000 seeds. The world is not scarce. It is filled with exponential possibilities. Allow yourself to unlock and unblock a feeling of scarcity. I want you to think of a city that was once a desert. The desert had almost no value. And now that city contains billions in wealth. There is evidence all around you that something can come from nothing. That a belief, determination, and actions can create immense value. I want you to let go of an idea that a loss is going to happen. That anticipation of loss is not a belief, it's just a fear. Just something you don't want to happen. Release that fear, because the opposite is more likely to be true. That if you've had a period of bad luck, financial misfortune, isn't it just as likely that you are due good luck, a windfall of abundance and possibility flowing towards you? Why not anticipate what you would like to happen and allow that self-fulfilling prophecy to fill you up with a sense of good things are coming your way? Because when it comes to disasters and losses, you accept the idea that just because something could happen doesn't mean it will happen. Possibility is not the same as inevitability. You are not destined for scarcity. You are capable of not just creating, but maintaining abundance and allowing that abundance to be like those seeds that multiply in quantity and value. The past experiences do not dictate future outcomes. If anything, they make you wiser. As you release the idea that financial hardship is a certainty, it's just a possibility. But when your sink of security is overflowing, even if it happens, you can handle it, so it doesn't bother you. Imagine teleporting yourself now to a river, strong, steady, flowing. And this river represents wealth, abundance, but also security. And you are connected to this river, always. And the flow of the river may rise, it may fall, but it never disappears. There is always enough in the river. You no longer fear the natural ebb and flow as you trust in your ability to create, to earn, to receive, but also to make better and better decisions. That's what wisdom is. Not to fuel regret of what you should have done in the past, but to influence what you do in the present and in your future. And with this trust in yourself now, you release the fear of what if, and now replace it with a wonderful feeling of positive anticipation of what if. What if an unexpected financial windfall suddenly appears? What if investments you make over the next few months increase dramatically in value over the next few years? What if you end up moving out of an apartment and living in a wonderful villa, beautiful garden, amazing community? What if something changes that doubles or trebles your income? What if someone you love unexpectedly increases their income too, meaning even more flows from the sinks of security and comfort into that bathtub of freedom and luxury? You are not bound by financial blocks, they are released now. You are not trapped in a cycle of scarcity. You feel inspired by abundance. And I wonder if you can step into a new belief that money is a tool that flows to you and through you, that you are deserving of financial ease and abundance. You release the fears of your childhood and now welcome wealth with open arms. You are safe in abundance. And the evidence of that would be an increasing desire to invest in small regular amounts in trustworthy counterparties and invest in assets rather than cash, believing that they can and probably will appreciate over time. You start to trust in steady, long-term growth and financial security as you allow yourself to make decisions based on logic and confidence, global trends rather than fear and hesitation. Past investing mistakes simply mean you are wiser now than you were before. This reduces risk, not increases it. Each time you invest is like planting a seed that could grow into that tree that produces fruit year after year after year. Every moment is an opportunity for growth. You embrace new opportunities, allowing wealth to flow to you naturally. And you can deploy that wealth in any ways that you want. Maybe like a snowball, that the wealth accumulates more assets, and as they grow, you accumulate more assets. Or maybe some of that increasing value and wealth and income is used to enhance your lifestyle even more, living where you want, how you want, living life on your terms. Change is constant, but I want you to feel that you can embrace change, have it work for you rather than against you, ensuring your financial sink is overflowing, improving your lifestyle while accumulating more assets and only taking bigger risks when you have the freedom to take those risks because so much abundance is flowing your way. And as you breathe this truth into your being, you feel lighter, empowered, even excited for the future. The fear melts away, the blocks dissolve, and you start to picture a future of confidence, security, but more importantly, freedom. As you embrace this belief, you get a sense that the bad luck in the past now means you are due good fortune in your future, and the tide is turning. And now is the point to return to the here and now with all of these blocks dissolved and new beliefs established. So take a deep breath in through your nose and out through your nose. Just wiggle your fingers and wiggle your toes. Start to connect with the here and now as I now count from 1 to 10 to awaken you. Starting to count. 1, 2, 3, waking up. 4, 5, 6, more alert. 7, 8, open your eyes, open your eyes. 9, 10, wide awake, wide awake, wide awake.